Here now is Arizona Attorney General Mark Brnovich. Attorney General, great to see you. Thank you for being here. So you're being accused of breaking the law for doing what the federal government is supposed to do, securing the border, right?
Yeah, David, thank you for having me on. And it truly is the height of absurdity and hypocrisy for the Biden administration to claim that somehow Arizona is violating the law when they will not enforce the law. And everyone watching should understand that the Constitution is the supreme law of the land. And under Article 1, Section 10 of the Constitution, Article 4, Section 4, the states have a right to defend themselves, especially when the federal government will not protect them against an invasion. And when you look at the numbers, millions of people illegally entering our country, thousands of pounds of drugs flooding into our country just this year, enough fentanyl to potentially kill everyone in this country, we have to do something. And that's why you see folks like Governor Abbott sending a message by sending folks to Martha's Vineyard in New York City, and our governor here trying to erect physical barriers to stop this flow of illegal immigration into our state.
Just a technical legal point. Are these shipping containers actually on federal lands?
There is a question as to that, and that'll be part of the litigation. The governor has taken the position that the way that land is constituted, it may not have been lawful the way the federal government took that land under its control. But even if it did, it's still under the protection of, the Federal Bureau of Land Management and other federal agencies. And I think under the Constitution, we need to remember the states created the federal government, not the other way around. So if the federal government is not doing its job, the state then can declare an invasion and do everything, including erecting physical barriers.
Okay, and just one final point in the weeds of this, the legal weeds. There is one federal agency, the Bureau of Reclamation, the Lower Colorado Basin, and they say that the shipping containers are harming federal lands and, quote, impeding their ability to perform its mission. Is that at all true?
Well, you know that the Biden administration is lying anytime their lips are moving. And it is really, once again, the height of hypocrisy where the Biden administration is giving free flights and free hotel rooms. And now, apparently, they want people illegally entering our country and the drug smugglers to have a clear path. And so what they are doing is trying to do everything they can to facilitate this continuation of the undermining of the rule of law. And as I said, people are dying in this country because of the record amount of fentanyl flooding in. Yeah. Just this year, more than 14,000 pounds just of fentanyl, more than 100,000 pounds of methamphetamine. We see a surge in coke now coming up again. So Americans are paying the price, not only at the pocketbook, but with lives lost because of the failure of the Biden administration. So, my goodness, whether it's Governor Abbott, whether it's Governor DeSantis, whether it's the governor here, we need to be doing everything we can to do the job the federal government and Joe Biden refuses to do.
Now, and it seems like there must be cases of individual citizens of Arizona whose private property is being trespassed upon by these migrants who are let in by the federal government. It sounds like you have a case to sue the federal government for trespassing, for allowing trespassing to happen.
In fact, one of the lawsuits that we have ongoing right now is I sued the federal government over the failure to build a border wall. And what we know is that the average person illegally crossing into our country leaves approximately 6 to 8 pounds of trash. So there is actually an environmental disaster occurring as a result of Joe Biden's failures and his policy failures. And we also know the record amount of drugs coming in. They've empowered the cartels. And I will tell you, David, I've been down to the border many times. I grew up in Arizona, and you talk to the ranchers down there, 4th, 5th generation Americans or Arizonans. They will tell you they've never, ever seen it this bad. The federal government is essentially ceded control of the southern border to the cartels. And that's why we are seeing folks like the governor here and the governor in Texas trying to do something to at least slow it down or stop it.
So you've got the witnesses. You've got plenty of evidence. I mean, Bill Malugin's videos give you evidence every day. And you have the Border Patrol agents. We have Border Patrol agents here all the time telling us how different, how open the borders are, how unsecure the border is right now. So it seems like if you have a hearing inside a court with a judge and a jury, you've got your case laid out for you.
Well, you would hope so. But one of the things that we know that even though federal judges have lifetime appointments, sometimes they find it difficult to do the right thing, or they want to do the woke thing and socially signal. But the reality is that when we see what's happening here, the Biden administration is refusing to do its job. We've been involved in Arizona litigation against the federal government related to the border, and the courts, the federal courts, including the Supreme Court, have generally taken the position that the states can't enforce immigration law. That's up to the feds. But we are doing everything we can. For example, my office stopped Joe Biden from rescinding Title 42. As I said, we sued him over the failure to build the border wall. We've sued him over the Remain in Mexico policy. So I'm using all the tools in my toolbox, and that is the courtroom, to try to hold Joe Biden and the administration accountable. And now it's up to other elected leaders to step up and to do everything they can to protect the citizens, not only of Arizona, but to protect the United States of America.
Well, we wish you luck for all of our sakes, because as you know, fentanyl is everywhere. All of the problems that occur from the open borders is spreading throughout the country. So it is a national problem. Mark Brnovich, great to see you, Attorney General from the great state of Arizona. Appreciate it.